gonna be held by Diana Bermudez. She's a part of our specialization program in English teaching, right, by Ricardo Palma University. And well, today's conference is about digital competencies and English teachers can develop in the post-pandemic era. Diana Bermudez has been a teacher for 20 years. She's currently a teacher trainer, a mentor and coach for different instructors and around the world. She works in the training and development department of the online division of Bermudez. And she's also teacher trainer and academic presenter at Ricardo Palma University. Her experience teaching and training teachers to deliver online lessons to kids, teens, and adults has allowed her to understand the importance of using digital tools to enhance the learning experience. So please welcome Diana Bermudez, my former teacher as well.
Thank you so much, Simon. What a lovely introduction. Very generous. Thank you so much. So good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure for me to be here. And as Simon says, it is an honor to be able to have this session sponsored by SPS, which is a place I dearly love. So let me start by sharing my screen. Here we go. All righty, so let's go over the agenda that we have for today. What we want to do in this session is go over first what a digital competency is. We want to understand what we're talking about. First of all, we're going to go over 4 areas in which teachers can develop digital competencies. And once we look at those digital competencies, we're going to be able to add some digital resources or tools that maybe you're familiar with, or maybe you have not heard before. Maybe some might be new for you. But the idea is to go over the steps on how you can use these tools in the framework of the digital competencies that I will be sharing with you today. And hopefully you will, learn some new, the use of some new resources, but also maybe whatever knowledge you already have, you'll be able to, bring it up a notch with this presentation. So to begin with, when you hear the word competency, what comes to mind? What ideas come to mind when you hear the word competency? Maybe you would like to write some ideas in the chat. Feel free to give me some ideas whenever you hear the word competency. What does that mean? Let's do some brainstorming. What comes to mind? Let's see. Have the chat here. And Sandra says to be able to do something. Christian says ability to do something smoothly. Yeah, very good. Proficiency, right, Christian? Very good. Thank you. And Russell says knowledgeable. Thank you. All righty. So competency is all of the ideas that you share with me. It has to do with the skills that you have to perform, right? Of course, it could be innate abilities as well that you perform or that you improve over time, but it's also connected to knowledge, right? In order to hone on some skills, you need to have some understanding. It could be, understand knowledge of techniques, knowledge of the way people learn, how people learn. And then all these combined, so the knowledge, your abilities, and the enhanced skills are going to help us shape our behaviors as teachers. And of course, we want to make sure that when we learn something as instructors, we can get empowered, right? Because then once we are empowered, we can bring something to our lessons that are going to make our lessons much more successful. And with this presentation, the first part of this presentation, I want to go over some theory to kind of lay out a foundation that is going to help us when we bring in all the practical ideas of the tools. And of course, the main topic is digital competency, right? So when we're talking about digital competency, it's the skills, the knowledge, the shaped behaviors as instructors, and the ability to use digital tools very well, proficiently, successfully, so that they bring forth good results in our lessons, right? So what we're going to do for our, let's say, theoretical framework is refer to what the European Commission laid out or published in 2017. They came up with 6 areas for digital competence. And we are going to focus on 4 in this presentation. We're going to focus on digital research, teaching and learning, right? We're going to focus on the pedagogic competences, digital resources, empowering learners, and assessment. So the first one that we have here, which is teaching and learning, is actually the third of the 6 areas. But for us in this presentation, we're going to start with this one, teaching and learning. So we are going to start with what we need to learn or we need to deepen. Okay, so do I sound better?
There's like, I don't know if it's me, but I hear like when you speak, there's a noise. Can you try again?
How about now? Is it better? Does it sound the same?
No. Yeah, the same.
Okay.
It
so
sounds
what
perfect. Christian says it sounds perfect. Okay, perfect. Yeah, the
Okay.
sound is great. Okay, good.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm
Alrighty.
sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's good to check. Alrighty. Okay. So the one that we're going to start with, it's going to be teaching and learning, guys. And so in order to get it started, I want to bring in some of the experts in the field, not some, but just one. There are a lot of experts in the field, but one of them that really inspired us as instructors and maybe inspired you is Penny Er. Of course, she has a lot of books on teaching tips, teaching techniques, pedagogy, etc. One of her books, her latest book in 2016 is called 100 Teaching Tips. I think this was written after she retired. So, but one of the things that was really inspiring for me and for this presentation was one of her anecdotes. She says that at the beginning of her career, she almost quit. And one colleague encouraged her. He told her to stop thinking. I'm just going to read this part here. He says, let me just bring in my laser. He told me to stop thinking so much about my own problems and look at my students. He asked me, or this colleague asked her whether the students were learning from the lessons and whether they were motivated to continue learning. So if they were, of course, then she was a successful teacher. So that is one of her fundamental tips, right? Instead of looking at what we need to do as instructors, let's look at how we can, of course, develop our competencies, but because we need to see results. We want to see our students succeed, and we need to make sure that we understand what they need to learn and how they are learning, right? So if we go back, that's why these 4 areas are so important. We need to consider the teaching and learning cycle. We need to focus on our students' learning to determine how successful and how we need to improve our teaching. And then we're going to be able to go to the digital resources that can help us enhance the results in our teaching. We also need to consider what assessment is appropriate, what digital tools can help us with assessment, and of course, what digital tools can help us empower our learners. If we are taking into consideration these 4 points and the tools that I will show you today, I'm more than sure, I'm pretty sure that you're going to be able to have successful lessons. Alrighty, so what we're going to do first, taking into consideration what I just said about the teaching and learning dynamic, that we want to see successful learners. We want to measure how much we need to improve based on how well our students are doing and, you know, the results in our students. Let's have a look at this activity that I have for you. It's kind of like a quick warm-up activity. And we're going to play this. It's actually a game to play solo. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to help me answer the questions here to warm up a little bit on the notions of teaching and learning. What I want you to help me with is answer the questions that are going to be shown in the game. This is something you can do with your students as well. In order to start a lesson, you can use a game to see how much your students know about a topic. I'm going to use a factory game. I have tried the other ones, and this is the one that helps me see points accumulated. The other ones are very interesting. So it would depend on your learners, but for the purpose of this questions that I have, we're going to use this one. So for the purpose of the presentation, we're going to limit it to 2 minutes. And this game is called Factory. And in order to start a factory, we need to accumulate points. So we're going to bring in things that are going to help us collect money. So if we answer all the questions correctly, we're going to make money. And that's going to help us set up our factory, okay? So we are going to skip the tutorial, but of course, I'll leave you the link. So if you want to watch the tutorial and use this, you can do so. So first question, please help me choose a color that you think is the correct answer. To have student-centered lessons, what is the first step to take when planning them, when planning the lessons? Color orange, yellow, design speaking tasks, blue, create activities for assessment, green, design worksheets to have students practice language learned, or red, outline clear learning goals for the lessons, the semester, or the entire program. Red, okay, red, everyone says red. Okay, let's go with red. And that's correct. Thank you very much. You guys are correct. We need to start with a clear goal, right? If we don't have a clear goal, how are we going to, plan what to do? Now, the second question, oh no, we have a minute remaining. Okay, let's hurry up. How much should students talk in the lessons? The most ideal is 70% for students, 30% for teachers, 50-50. Students should talk all the time, 40-60. What do you say, guys? Is it yellow, red, blue, green? Some people say yellow, orange, okay, yellow, orange. We'll go with yellow, orange. Yes, we have to make sure our students talk as much as possible. It used to be 60-40, but now it's gone up to 70-30 according to research. Should our lessons be student-centered sometimes or all of the time? And the answer is, thank you, all of the time. All of the time. Thank you so much, Sandra. And that's correct, Sandra, you get a point. And then, okay, so this is the time to choose a block. The block is going to bring in all the cash that we need. So let's see. Okay, so we managed to, let's see how many reward points can we add. So we have 3 blocks and 3 experience points. Okay, that's nice. And we haven't accumulated any money here. I'm sorry. But if we play the game one more time or give it a little bit more time, the block that we choose could give us money to get it started. But we do have, 3 XP. So that's pretty good. All right, so we're going to use this at the end of our presentation to see how much more money we can have for our factory. So the reason why we play this short game to think about the teaching and learning is just to show you that we want to have a student-centered, teaching learning cycle, right? Now, what I want you to help me with is I want you to help me set up the cycle from 1 to 4 with the stages. So we know that we have to make our sessions based on our students. Now, which one do you think should go first? You can say first or second. Effective feedback or clearly defined learning goals? First or second? Second. Alrighty. Thank you, Elizabeth. So, okay. So once we have the goals, once we have the clearly outlined learning goals, what do we need? Clear language presentation or meaningful practice activities? First or second? Just type it in the chat. First or second? 1. Sandra says 1. Sandra super fast. Soraya 1. Thank you. Christian first. Alrighty, here we go. And yes, once we define the goal, then we need to present language clearly. Thank you so much. Now, what about after we present, what do we need? Meaningful practice or effective feedback and assessment? First or second? First or second? Tell me, guys. First. Thank you so much. So we need to have the practice after we have language presentation. So that gives us the 3 most important ones. If we go back before, so the one that is left will be effective feedback, right? So that'll be our full teaching and learning student-centered lesson cycle. So thank you so much for your help. So this is what we're going to be focusing on today, combined with our digital competencies, the 4 areas of digital competency. So we're going to try to marry the two. We're going to try to keep in mind our pedagogy, our cycle, and how then we can bring in all these competencies into the cycle, okay? So in order to do this, let me just go back. We're going to start with digital resource management. So let me, just a second. Here. All right. So before we move on to digital resource management, before we move on from the third point, teaching and learning, onto the second, which is digital resources, when we choose apps or tools that we want to use in our face-to-face lessons, we have to make sure that we are enhancing that collaborative aspect of learning and also the self-regulated learning. So when you hear the word self-regulated learning, what comes to mind? Maybe before we move on to digital resources, can we have a quick brainstorming in the chat of what it means to have self-regulated learning? This is something that we're going to try to connect in as we go along. This is one important part of the teaching and learning competency. So who can give us some ideas when you see self-regulated learning? What comes to mind? Any tool or any resource comes to mind as well when you think of self-regulated? Okay, Elizabeth says students learning on their own. Thank you. So autonomy, right, Elizabeth? Thank you. Is there any other idea that comes to mind? At their own pace. Alrighty. Thank you so much, Sandra. Very good. Thank you. So these are things that we need to also teach our students. Those are skills for life. A person that is self-regulated is going to be able to have self-control. It's going to be able to manage his or her learning, reach their goals and move forward in life. So this just transcends our classroom. It's not just for the classroom, but it's, shaping an individual as well. Alrighty. So having said that, thank you, Rose. Yes, when they answer correctly and they understand they have answered correctly and how they got there, how they got to that answer. So let's go to the digital resources now. According to the European Commission, we have to select. If necessary, we're going to create, we're going to modify, and we're going to manage and protect. But most importantly, we need to share with our students and share with other educators. So first of all, in order to start in our cycle of the teaching and learning cycle, the clearly outlined learning goals, one digital tool that I like to use a lot for my online and face-to-face lessons is Jamboard. So we're going to go there. We're going to go to Jamboard, and we're going to use it for the first part of the session, which is the clearly outlining the goals. So when you go to Jamboard, it's like you're going to your board on the face-to-face environment. And we're going to discuss the differences in a minute, but basically you do the same. You write the date, you write the title, write the topic. You have a picture to, warm up, to set the scene. You have instructions for your students for your warm up. In this case, for example, to give you an example, I want you to look at these pictures, to look at all these apps like Skype, YouTube, Pinterest. These are popular digital tools, right? Or apps. Now, what about for teachers? So for teachers, we are going to brainstorm together tools that we know we have used or we have heard of that are popular with instructors or that you have used a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Padlet. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to share with you. What I want you to do when you go to Padlet is I want you to share one digital tool that you use in your face-to-face lessons. You're going to add an image, you're going to add a link, and you're going to write one sentence describing why you use it or you like it. Then you're going to be able to see your peer comments, or you're going to be able to see other people's comments. You can like them, and also you can leave a comment about their comment. Like, for example, I use Jamboard a lot. Okay, so let me do that. Now, in order for you to enter your answers, you're gonna click on the plus sign here at the bottom right. You see a plus sign. You're gonna click on it. Your name is going to maybe be anonymous. That's fine. That's okay if you don't have a Padlet account. You're going to type the tool that you use. If you have a link, you're going to add the link. If you don't have a link, that's okay. It's not, but then you have to describe it like I did here. Jamboard is it's great for lesson opening, warm up, review, and set the goal of the lesson. So tell us why you use it, the purpose, and then of course, comment on other people's, you can like or comment on other people. Okay, so let me put here in the chat the link to Padlet. Again, when you click, it's going to take you to another screen and you're going to see what I'm showing you right now. You're going to click on the plus sign that is in the bottom right. And you're going to add one tool that you know, add a link if you have a link, if not, that's fine. And then the description of the tool, how you use it, why you like it. And then we'll be looking at what you share and we'll be able to comment as well. So we'll take maybe 1 or 2 minutes to do this activity. Let's see, I can see. Let me close my chat, put it over here. Okay, thank you. So here's one answer to use Jamboard more. Alrighty, thank you. Let's see, who else? Alrighty, here we have quizzes. Thank you so much. And then we have the link. And my kids love this tool. They can relax and play while reviewing the vocabulary you're learning. Awesome. Thank you so much. Very good. Jamboard or board on Zoom. Yeah, good idea, Raquel. You can use your Zoom whiteboard. It's interactive. Yes. Thank you. Oh, yes. Kahoots. Thank you for, I love Kahoots for games, for quizzes, the YouTube videos, the ABC. Very good. The little ones. Yes, very good. I love the series of the ABC songs. Very good. Of course, read theory. Oh my goodness. Yes. I use it too to encourage my students to read. Perfect. Quizzes. Excellent. Very good. Thank you, Raquel. Awesome. Mentimeter. Wow. Brainstorming using this platform. Excellent. Thank you so much, Mentimeter. Oh, Mentimeter. Okay. I think, and we have word wall. It can be used at any stage of the class. Ooh, very good. Thank you. I love, so Mentimeter, word wall. I love all these ideas. All righty. Thank you so much. That was great. And of course, feel free to go ahead and just, if you want to add some more, we can keep it for us. Bamboozle, thank you, because my students can compete. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, very good, Pilar. All righty. So let's go back to our Jamboard then, and let's set our goal for today, right? The goal for today is to learn about digital tools that English teachers can use in the post-pandemic era. So many of you mentioned quizzes or Kahoot, for example. You mentioned some new ones for brainstorming like Padlet and Word Wall and Bamboozle, right? So in this part of the Jamboard, I don't have all the names that you mentioned, but I have some of them, and those are the ones we're going to look at. So if you have a similar one, then what I share is probably going to apply to that tool as well. I have Padlet, Jamboard, Pear Deck, quizzes, Edpuzzle, Canva, Flip, and Ruby Star. So what I want to do now is I'm going to share this to just with some people specifically so that they can help us to answer these 3 questions. Well, just 2 questions. What questions do you have about any of these digital tools? I want you to, if you don't know the tool that is here, write a question that you want answered in this presentation. And then if you know one that is similar, write the name that is similar. Okay. So for example, what you're going to do is, I think you know how to use it, but just in case, I'm going to click on the T here, and I'm going to ask a question about, for example, Pear Deck. What is it used for? And I know that for brainstorming, here we have a suggestion already that is Mentimeter. So I can write for Padlet, one that is similar. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share this with 4 people in the chat. And you can go ahead and choose one of the tools that you don't know, write a question about it that you want to answer. And if you know one that's similar, please write the similar, and in parentheses, please write your name so that we know who's participating. So for example, I wrote this one and I'm just going to write my name in parentheses so everyone knows I participated here. Okay, so let me just, I'm going to randomly choose people in the participants list. And I'm going to send the link to them. So I'm sending it to Sandra. To Christian, Raquel, and Erika, and okay, so we're going to wait. I'm just going to send it to one more person, and then we're going to wait to see some responses. And then we're going to continue looking at the, other tools that we can use according to the cycle. My bad. Sorry, guys. It's okay. My bad, Christian. Sorry about that. I think, yeah, thank you. All right, so here I go again. Bear with me. Try again, Christian. It should work. It works now, Elizabeth. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so just refresh it then and it should work. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, I see one person typing for Padlet and one person typing for Pear Deck. Okay, I'm gonna, just in the meantime, I'm going to go back to the participants list. I'm gonna send the link to one more person, and let's just keep an eye on the next slide as well. So in the next slide, we have someone working on Ruby Start. Great. And okay, so we have 4 people. Perfect. So we have someone saying, is it a game? And don't forget to please, yes, thank you. Chris, is there a paid version? Thank you. All righty, so somebody's asking with YouTube videos with Padlet. Thank you. Good. And that's Elizabeth. Good. So Chris asked about the paid version of Pear Deck. And let's have a look at what we have for Sandra. Sandra, yeah, Sandra, Ruby Star, how can we use this? Awesome. All righty. Thank you. So let's see if somebody has one more idea. Somebody's writing. I see somebody for Canva. And then flip in your class, Chris, definitely. We're going to make sure to answer that question in this presentation, Chris. And for Canva, somebody wants to write. So let's just wait. Oh, okay. So Genially is similar to Canva. Okay. Thank you, Sandra. Yes. I love Genially. I haven't used it as much as Canva, but it is really cool. All right. Thank you, Sandra. That was awesome. Thank you, everyone, really, for participating. Erica, I really appreciate your question. All righty. So we wanted to participate. I wanted to know a little bit about your background knowledge with these apps, tools, but I also wanted you, if you haven't used Jamboard this way, or if you haven't seen people using it this way, then you have another way of interacting with Jamboard. So what we're going to do now, quickly come back to the presentation. Okay. So we just used two tools for the first stage of our cycle, which is Jamboard, and we also used, which are Jamboard and Padlet. And some of you had questions about Pear Deck, right? Some of you had some questions about like whether there's a paid version or whether there's something that it allows you to do, like if is it a game or something like that. So now we can move there. We have used Padlet and Jamboard to set the scene sort of for our lesson. And then for presenting, we can use, of course, many of us in face-to-face lessons, we use presentations like this, PowerPoint presentations. And many of our face-to-face lessons, we have one monitor, or maybe we have projector, or we might have like one computer, and then we might be able to maybe go to a lab in our lessons. So I think that most of us have a way to using these tools, whether on students' computers, if we have the computer lab, or their cell phones. So we are going to assume that our students are, for this session, they are allowed to use their cell phone, and we are going to use our cell phones to present Pear Deck. Okay, so let's imagine you're the students, and we're going to go to Pear Deck. So let's go to Pear Deck very quickly. And here I go. Show you. Okay, just a second, it's almost there. It's loading, so I'm just going to close one more. Okay, I think it's there. Can you see it says digital tools to enhance our English lessons? All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is interact with these Google Slides that I created for presenting or giving you more information, just kind of like deepen your knowledge of some of the digital tools that I have for you today. So Pear Deck is going to allow us to make these Google Slides more interactive. And for that, I'm going to click on the extensions here, and I'm going to click on Pear Deck. So what I had to do first was connect my Google account with Pear Deck, right? And then I'll show you that in a second. So I have the presentation here, the Google Slides, and I'm going to play it. I'm going to start a lesson. I'm going to do it instructor paste so that I could be the one in control. What I'm going to ask you to do on your phones, type joinpd.com, joinpd.com. Yes, it's like this. And it's going to ask you for this code. And you just type the code UAAACX. It's going to ask you to connect with a Google account. I have one student connected. Yay. I have two. It's going to ask you how you're feeling. And then it's going to load the presentation. So what Pear Deck is going to allow me to do is, as I present and I am in control of the presentation, my students are going to be able to follow along on their devices, on their cell phones. And whenever I want to check if they're really following along, or if they want to see their reactions, if I want to see if they have understood what I said, or just to know how much they know, I'm going to have some questions for them along the way. Okay, so let's just start the class. I have 6 students connected. So the first question I have for you is, which digital tool mentioned so far? Remember, we mentioned several ones here in Jamboard, Padlet, Jamboard, Pear Deck, quizzes, and then there were some others here, Ruby Star, Edpuzzle. With older students, yeah, Canva, and which of them seems to be the most interesting? The question also appears on your device. I don't know if you can see this, maybe if I bring it closer. The question also appears on your device, and then there is a section at the bottom that says answer question. So please go ahead, click on answer question and type in a question based on the tools that we have seen or the names that we have seen, and type in which one you feel you would like to know more about. Now, this is for everyone, because before there were just some people that had the link to Jamboard that could participate, but this is for everyone. So if you were able to connect, go ahead and enter your answer. I'm going to be able to click on show response and see responses. Pear Deck is one here, Kahoot, Pear Deck again, Pear Deck, and Jamboard and Pear Deck. So most people are typing Pear Deck. Alrighty, so we are at the moment using Pear Deck. If you haven't connected yet, click on your cell phone, type, if you have another computer, you can type joinpd.com, and the code to access, let me put it in the chat, is UAAACX. UAAACX. There you go. All righty, Nate. Hey, Nada. It's good to see you. Okay. Thank you, Ali. Thank you so much. All righty. So as the answers start appearing, I have 10 responses so far, and the winner seems to be Pear Deck. Thank you all. So this one is the one that we're interested in, that really want to know about. So as this is the first question, so I'm going to make sure that I spend and I give you enough details about this, so by the end of the session, you feel like, okay, I can start using Pear Deck. All right, so moving on now, these are the 8 tools I'm going to be sharing with you. Some of them are probably the ones that we were using. Yeah, sure, Sarayda. Sarayda wants to know the code again. Let me share it. It's UAAACX and the joinpd.com. All righty. Okay, so what we want to do now is, I have in the presentation, we looked at Jamboard first to warm up with a picture, to set the scene, a question to brainstorm, and we went to Padlet, and then we set the goal. I set the goal and I left it there on Jamboard. So is Jamboard only useful for lesson openings? What do you think? Thank you, Sarayda, you're in, I'm glad. Okay, so what is your opinion, guys? Go ahead and on your device, click on answer question and tell me, Do you feel that Jamboard is only useful for lesson openings, or have you had a chance to use Jamboard for something else? Have you used it for presentations, for practice, for feedback, for assessment? Tell me. And just first click true or false, and then we'll know. So let's just take a look at the responses right now. So most people are saying false. Okay, so we not only use Jamboard for presentations. I can see that you probably have used it for other things as well, maybe for practice for games. Yeah, very good. All righty, so definitely we don't have to limit ourselves to the cycle that I'm showing you. Once you start using one tool, you should, practice and make sure that you become as resourceful as you can. Use it for many purposes, right? So for the lesson opening, how can we make sure the Jamboard is used in a variety of ways during the warm-up whenever we have to do face-to-face lessons? Because if we are doing it online, like right now, it's easy because I just share the link with you and you type and I can see it. We don't have the physical board anymore, right? What happens if we do have a physical board and we have Jamboard? So what can we do? What are some alternatives for us? We can set the goal and it's going to stay there on Jamboard throughout the program. So I can have the goals recorded there for a week, for a month, or for as many sessions as I have. And here at the end, you can see in the bullets, I can turn that into a PDF. So I can have a PDF that shows me the record of all the goals that I have had. And that's one benefit of Jamboard. Of course, you can also do that with a PowerPoint presentation or Google Slides, but it's one variety. Like it offers you the variety that you want to add to your lessons. And another thing is that it also helps the students interact in a quick way. Now, if you want to, you can have your students prepare for a lesson. You can share the link to Jamboard with them, and you can ask them to look at the goal that you have for the following lesson, and they have to complete a pre-task. They have to prepare something. Maybe they have to brainstorm, for example, places that need restoration in the city, or brainstorm markets that need fixing, or, parks that need help, or, you can have, depending on the lesson that you're teaching, have your students come prepare. You will see on your Jamboard what they came up with the day before, and then you will see the following day. So that's one way to use Jamboard when you have face-to-face. So you can use it as a way to prepare your students for the following lesson. Then you can also have the students work in teams. So if they work in teams, if they work in groups, once they brainstorm, then one person can come to the board and type the answers on Jamboard or on the physical board. If you have a physical board and you're playing, let's say students have to work in groups and then one person has to go to the board to write the answers. If you want to keep a record of those answers because they're going to be used for a speaking task later, and then of course you have to erase your board, right, when you're doing it, physical board, you don't need to erase anything on Jamboard. It will stay there forever. So one person could come and type it on Jamboard, or if they are using their cell phone, of course, they can use the cell phone as well. And it will help them preparation for speaking task or, the next task. So brainstorming can be done as homework with Jamboard. And as I said, you can also have it turn into a PDF. Alrighty. So with what I share with you, can Jamboards be used in face-to-face lessons? Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Jamboard cannot be used in face-to-face lessons. In your experience, do you agree, disagree? So right, okay, I'll show you in a minute. But let's see the responses. Most people agree that it's not possible to use in face-to-face, okay? Oh, sorry, most people disagree. Most people think that, yeah, you can use Jamboard for face-to-face, right? Some people are in between and decided, like, I'm not sure. Maybe, okay, so 3 people say that you cannot use it in face-to-face. So maybe they have tried it. But most say that we can use Jamboard in face-to-face lessons already. So yeah, I think it is very fascinating to see your responses in real time. Now, let me just quickly come here. So Raida asked me how we can turn this into a PDF, and I just want to show her on Jamboard. Raida, you can click on those three dots and then click on download as a PDF, and then we'll show you everything that your students have come up with. That's why very important to have them write their names so that you know who participated and then download it, right? Alrighty, so by coming back to Pear Deck, thank you so much for your answers. I'm going to share with you 3 ideas for face-to-face lessons for Jamboard that, of course, you don't have to use, but it's one way. It's not the way, but it's one way. So one is project assignment. So this is one thing that students or other instructors have done. They use the sticky notes in Jamboard and give students a name, or sorry, a number. So student 1, 2, 3, and they know, each student knows his or her number. And we give them the clear rules or rules and expectations for the project. We can use this as a way to keep track of the development of the project, how much they are working on the project. And each board could have their names, and they can start collecting pictures or pictures of vocabulary or ideas as the lessons move forward. So let's say in week 1, the board that says Simon, he's going to put a picture of the place he wants to restore in his town. In week 2, he has to come up of people he needs to hire to restore the town. In week 3, he has to use, let's say, have to, need to, must, the modals of necessity in order to come up with a plan. So every week the board is going to evolve into more and more ideas, getting him ready for a project, getting one student ready for a project. So at the end, it could be one student presenting his project just using the slides of his boards or Jamboards, right? So when you use it this way, students can just be asked to put keywords, right? Because remember that what we said at the beginning, we want students to be speaking 70% of the time, not reading 70% of the time. So Jamboard has to be used carefully. We don't want students to have all the answers of what they're going to say there. No, remember that you have to harness the technology. Make sure that you tell the students the clear rule is keywords, images and keywords to help you, to prompt you to speak, right? And of course, these Jamboards can go in conjunction with all your speaking tasks that you have in preparation for the final performance or presentation of the project. I'm going to leave with you, if you can see it in your device, you will see the 2 links to how to use Google Jamboard. And if you've never used it, how to get it started. And if you click on this link, you can also get ideas for how to become Google educator or use more of Google's apps for educators. Alrighty, so far, drag your dot to see how you're feeling about Jamboard. How are you feeling? What you have to do with your dot is tell me if you understand, or you're still a little confused about Jamboard, or you need help. Like confused, very confused. So how do you feel about, let's have a look at their responses. A little confused already. But many people say, okay, keep going, you understand. Right, thank you. Oh, okay, it's all right, don't worry, it's okay. Yes, okay, we have recorded this, perfect. All righty, so yeah, some people are a little confused. They're like, not completely there yet, but many people are on it, let's say. You're sold, you're like, yes, let's use Jamboard or have it as an alternative. It's not gonna be the tool, but one off, right? Alrighty, thank you so much. So having participated on this tool, which is Pear Deck, let's go to our presentation and let's see what we were doing. Let's have a look. Alrighty. So let me show you here. So for Jamboard, yes, we can use it to set the goal. We can use it to brainstorm pictures, warm up, and prompts for speaking tasks. You can assign homework, and you can, at the end, create a PDF that you can send your students for self-study. Sylvia is a little confused already. So at the end, if you have a specific question, Sylvia, about Jamboard, let me know, and I will be able to, maybe share something else or clarify any doubt. But basically, Jamboard is going to be your alternative board if you have your physical board already, where you're going to keep everything. You have your PowerPoint, but it's going to be your alternative to make sure that you have a record of the goal of the sessions, that you have your students participate and brainstorm in different ways, and that you use it as a springboard for speaking tasks. You want to get your students speaking as much as you can, and Jamboard can help you because it's great for pictures and it's great for sticky notes that just have keywords, and it's great for just key adjective, key nouns, and names of places. Alrighty, so that is for Jamboard. The other one that we just looked at was, let me see, Padlet. We briefly looked at Padlet, but if we go back to Padlet, let me just go back very quickly. You have used it probably before. I just want to show you again. And feel free to comment in the chat the benefits of Padlet. I'm just going to show you again and just summarize it before we move to another one. But as you can see, I have now a compilation of all your ideas of tools that you use or you have used to enhance your lessons, right? Now, this is great for me as an instructor because now I know how much you know and what I need to probably bring extra to the lesson to enhance your knowledge. And I have to, as a students, you can read your partner's ideas, you can comment as well. So it's not, like you can see, it's not for long texts. So what Padlet helps you with, and this is how I've used it several times, is to make interactions more animated. So you can add a picture, your link, your reactions, and your comments, but because you cannot write a lot, you have to be able to synthesize. You have to be able to, if you read something, you have to summarize and write a summary of what you read to describe a picture, to describe something. You have to maybe paraphrase, or like I said, paraphrase or summarize. And these are great critical thinking skills for our learners. And we can use those short summaries in preparation for speaking tasks as well. You can have your students read 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs, and then they have to summarize what they read. And after they summarize it on Padlet, then you can use that so that they can talk about what they summarized, if they agree or disagree, if they would do something similar or not, if they have met someone that they have just read about in the story. So the idea is to use the tool to help your students with their critical thinking skill, with their interactions, with keeping them motivated, but then tap into their speaking skills. How can I use Padlet to help my students speak 70% of the time? That should be the competence that we want to develop as instructors. So the other thing is that you can use it as homework as well, because a lot of times we need our students to have a lot of ideas for writing, right? So we can tell them, okay, here in Padlet, you're going to write, let's say, ideas on your best vacation. Just tell me, where you went, who you went with, and what you did there. And the students might write just in a free writing style, just to get started. Then they can talk about that experience, that trip. And then once they have generated ideas, then we tell them, okay, now I want you to write it in a paragraph form. And you can show them, the academic writing paragraph format that they need to adhere to. But Padlet will help them get started with ideas, which is one of the crucial things that we need, right, for our students, get them started. So if you haven't used Padlet before, go ahead and try it. It's great. I've used it a lot and my students have enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it when you used it here. But if you have already, then the other ways that you can use it probably is to tap into your students' critical thinking skills so that they can summarize, synthesize, paraphrase, and then be ready to talk about it or talk about in any topic. Now for Pear Deck, guys, just going to what we just looked at. So for Pear Deck, what we want to do, let me just stop here for a moment and show you. Pear Deck again. Here we go. Okay, I think, let's see, it's loading. Can you see it now? Can you see it? Okay, great, thank you. So what I did for Pear Deck, like I told you, is I created an account on Pear Deck. And when I created the account, I had to connect it to a Google account that I had. I have two Google accounts, so I had to make sure that I used one existing one. And I use just one. And sometimes you have to be careful because if you have several Gmail accounts, they can, get little mixed or something. So make sure that you follow all the process connected to one Gmail account. And at the end, it's going to ask you to confirm the school that you are working with. Now, if your school is not listed as the ones that work with Pear Deck, I can give you a code that I used to create this one. That is like a generic code that I found in a tutorial some time ago. So there is like let's say a work around it if you cannot connect. And I'll share that with you when I share the presentation slides. You will see that there. So once you connect and the school is added to your account, then you're going to see this extension, Pear Deck appear as an extension. When you click on Open Pear Deck add-on, it's going to appear on your right-hand side, and it has templates already created for you. So for example, for me, when I created my digital tools presentation, I could just click on template and have ideas for how to interact with my students in the beginning of a lesson. It told me like, okay, Diana, what do you want to do? Do you want to ask a question? Do you want to have a students brainstorm? Do you want thumbs up, thumbs down? Do you want to think of a question students might have? So it helps me a lot to get my students riled up, and like started, motivated and excited about the lesson. Like I said, also tap into their critical thinking skills, like, just analyze something before going into the topic. And so this is for the beginning. During the lesson, you also have options like, for example, what we use, true or false, how you're feeling, mind maps, agree, disagree, steps, stretch a break. So if you want to take a break, you can also insert it there and tell your students, okay, let's have a 5-minute break, everyone. And you also have ideas for end of lesson. For end of lesson, you have connect to your own life, how you're feeling, pretend your friend was absent from today's class. So this is a great exit ticket, what you learned, what you're going to tell your friend that was absent today. And there is one way here that I really like that says, reflect on today's activities. What did you like? What didn't you like? What was easy? What was hard? This is a great meta cognition activity to help your learners learn how they learn. Alrighty, so what you do is just choose the ones that you want, insert them along the way. And once you're ready for your lesson, you just click on Start Lesson, like I did. I'm going to close this for a moment. And then click on Start Lesson again, so you can see the whole thing again. I have used the instructor paced activity because I was in control of moving the slides. I didn't want you to just move forward and answer on your own. I wanted to see your responses in real time. So if you want to control and see answers in real time, then go to instructor paced. Let's just wait for it to load. It's going to give you, like we did, join pd.com, and then it's going to give you the code, like NDWLNO. So I'm going to put it again in the chat. Let me put it in the chat. Joinpd.com. And the new code is NDWLNO. There you go. So that's a new code. So everyone, I'm going to do that as well. So we're all in again. And this is just for, learning purposes. So I'm just going to access myself just to check everything is moving along well. So I have 4 students connected. I'm going to start the class. All righty. So Now, as I showed you, you are going to be able to control as you move along. You're going to be able to see the answers. So let's say, for example, my student answers false. So let me answer here false. And I have to click on show responses to be able to see. If I put my arrow over here, I can see who participated. So this is awesome. I can start seeing my students' reaction. I can see who is the fastest, who is really following along. So it's also a great way for formative kind of assessment, right? To just check along the way. And this feeds into your lesson preparation. It shows you, okay, this is something great that I prepared. My students are really connected and they're really responding. They're following along what I want to show them. So for formative assessment and to feed into what you have planned is great, right? It's great motivation for you as an instructor to see your students are following along. So for the second, when we did the disagree and agree part, for example, I'm going to put my arrow there. Again, I'm going to click on show responses and I can see there. Now, if I want to see who was the one that disagreed, I cannot see that here. I only see the dots, but I don't see who. Like in true or false, I could see the names, but here I don't see the names. And then if I move forward, if you click on the links on your cell phone, they will take you to whatever links you add there. So if you share this with your students later and you want them to do a self-paced and you tell them, okay, go to the link and I want you to check this video first and then come back to answer questions, they will be able to click on the links and be directed to those videos or the links. All righty. So here I added also a video for anyone who mentioned that was a little confused to how to use Jamboard like from scratch. If you've never used it before, it shows you the features that it has. So what, the sticky notes is and how to share it, how to download it as a PDF, how to use the different boards or the frames, and also how to customize your backdrop or your background, right? Alrighty, so let's just go back to our presentation very quickly. And I want to show you that Pear Deck management. Basically, what you're going to be able to do is your Google Slides, make them more interactive. Your students will participate from their phones, or if they are in the computer lab as well. Then if not, like I said with Jamboard, you can have your students in teams participate at a time using one device. And it can be used to review key concepts or check comprehension as language is being presented. Like I noticed that you were like, okay, this is false. I agree. I could see how you were responding to my information, what I had given you. So it was great feedback for me as a presenter. For you as an instructor, is also going to be able to let you know how well your students have grasped something. All righty, so what we're going to do next is, now that we have taken a look at Pear Deck for enhancing our presentations, we can tap into videos. How many of you have used videos for language presentation? You can type it in the chat. Not many. Okay, many times, Soraya. Okay, Christian, good. All righty, great. So what I want to share with you in this part is that you can use, of course, for presenting language, you can use Google, like I just did, Google Slides, a PowerPoint, Pear Deck to make it interactive. But you can also turn your PowerPoint into a video. And if you want, you can use Edpuzzle that already has videos, and then it also has comprehension questions to see how well your students understood something. So let's have a look. Here I have a video for Edpuzzle. All righty, so if you have never used it before and you are not sure on how to upload a video and how to edit it to add questions, that's okay. But what I can show you right now is that when you go to Edpuzzle, you create an account. If you go to Discover, there is a plethora of videos already created for just about any topic that you want to present. Of course, it is mostly probably useful for lower levels, because lower levels have things that are very specific to present, like, for example, vocabulary about family or vocabulary related to the weather. But for example, in my case, when I went to look for videos for simple past, this is something that I need to constantly remind some of my students, remember how we use the verbs in the past, the pronunciation and all that. I found a lot of videos. So this is what your homework is as an instructor. You have to watch the video and you have to see if the questions that teachers have added already are good for you or for your students. If they are, you can just copy this. Like in this case, I copied it and I edited. No, I decided to edit that. So let me go back and show you again. So let's say, for example, I already checked this video on Mr. Bean, and now I want to edit that one. So I can go to edit. I can go to the question that is here. Let me see here. Let's come the first question.
Oh. Oh. Hello.
Oh. This is going to be brilliant. You can do it, Teddy. Good luck.
There's some
3, 2,
sentence here.
1, go! Yes! Yes, Teddy, you did it! You did it! You did it! Oh, no.
Morning.
Alrighty, so here's the first question. Was Mr. Bean happy? And here already, because I'm editing, the answer is already here. But that's what students are going to see. If I'm happy with that, I can keep it. If not, I can click on the pencil and change it, right? Change the question, change the answer. So if you want to add to your lessons and make the presentations interactive, or after you present something, you want to reinforce what you presented and have students watch a video and answer comprehension questions as they watch the video, this is a great tool. Like I said, when you go to Discover and you look for specific topics, grammar structures, or vocabulary, you will find videos already created by other instructors. You can, for example, click on one, like I did just this one, copy it. And once you copy that one, you can assign it to your group. Let me just do this again. Assign it. You have to create a class for Edpuzzle in order to be able to assign it. And then click on assign. And now your students are going to be able to watch the video and then answer. Once you have the video created, you will have to share the assignment. You just copy the link and share with your students. But before you share it, you have to make sure that your students are added to your class or to your group. So that's one thing different to like Jamboard or Padlet. You just need to just share the link with your students. But for Edpuzzle, you do need to add them to your class. That's just one little difference. So, but if you want to do your own videos, because maybe the content of your book is very specific and you are not just teaching all the verbs out there for simple past, but just some, you can create your own videos using your PowerPoint slides. So when you go to PowerPoint, so for example, this one here, it's a PowerPoint that I created and then just inserted my voice.
So let's learn some activities.
Inserted myself and my voice in the video in order to, in the PowerPoint, I mean, to present.
She is drinking coffee. Can you repeat? She is drinking coffee.
So what is the benefit of doing this? Like if you want to add to your Pear Deck presentation, give it to your students to do self-paced, then you can tell them, watch this video of me, like presenting this, and then answer the question. So you can have your own video with your PowerPoint slides based on the content of your material, and then they can follow along. The good thing about Pear Deck and Google Slides is that it allows you to insert, links of videos. Alrighty, so Another one that you can use for presenting vocabulary or presenting structures is Quizlets. And somebody mentioned in the chat, ISL Collective is quite similar. ISL Collective has also a great collection of material created by instructor, worksheets, videos, songs, are really, really good. In Quizlets, what I like to do is go to Learn and have the students, do multiple choice to do self-study before the lesson or with us. If we want to see how much students know about a topic, let's use this if we want, because in Quizlets, we already find a lot of flashcards that have a lot of blanks, like this fill in the blank activities for different structures like simple present, simple past, present continuous. So you can see how much your students know. And then from there, go to present. You present the words that they don't know. And finally, you can also use Jamboard for presenting vocabulary. For example, if you need to present, vocabulary or adjectives related to physical appearance, you can use this and then have students as homework put pictures next to the adjectives as well. All right, so those are the ones that I just shared with you. How many digital tools did we just look at to present in a lesson, to present language in a lesson? TED Ed for videos as well, Marco, thank you. And, oh, wow, you use Quizlet a lot? Yes. When I was teaching lower level students, that's what I used all the time, Zoraida. So good job. So everyone on your phone, Paradeck is asking you another question, and the question is, how many digital tools did we just look at? How many did I mention? You can write any number, that's fine. You can just have a look. Okay, and the answers are 4, 5, 6. Wow. Okay, so we're almost there. 3, okay. So we're almost there. So in total, there were 8. So we're almost done with the rest of them. Thank you so much. So we have done about 5. So how much can you remember about the digital tools to make sure that we are following along and not just me giving you information, but to see that you're retaining what I'm sharing with you? What I would like you to do is now on your phone, if you click to answer this, it's going to take you to quizzes. So what I would like you to do, if you click on answer the question and it takes you to quizzes, you are going to type in this code. And the code is, sorry. Let me see. What's the code? Oops. Okay, so we can finish with this one, Simon? Yeah. Okay, let's finish with this one. So the code is 411-0019. 411-019. Oops, sorry, let's just share it for everyone. 411-019. There you go. Okay, Sandra is there. Thank you, Sandra. Chris, great. Okay, so then if you do it on your phone, you're going to see like a new way to interact with quizzes if you haven't used this before. So this is the instructor paste. So I am in control And the reason why is because when we are in our face-to-face lessons, sometimes the students don't have their phone. So you need to be the one controlling. So you can maybe on the computer, give the rights to one person to participate. So do you have the first question here? And what we're going to do is we're going to allow participants to draw. And I'm going to see, for example, what Sandra drew. So let me see here. I will access as D. Let me start as well. So all righty. So you can see there that just let me show you one answer here. I drew my response. Let's see, Sandra. Very good, Sandra. Sandra says Ed Puzzle. Good job, Sandra. Ed Puzzle is based on video. It's great. That's awesome. And Chris also circle Ed Puzzle. Awesome. Very good, guys. Thank you so much. So we're running out of time. So let me end this one, but I have another one for you. So let me go there. Okay, so here we go. Second question. Let's see if you remember. Ready? Okay, the question is, and just be ready to circle also with your annotation tool on your cell phone. All right, let's see who's the fastest one. And let me see. Sandra, not yet. Chris. Okay, Carla. Okay, here I see one. Russell. Okay, I almost missed these. Okay, let me see if I can see. Oh, there you go. So we have Diane's view. Very good, Diane. So it's Padlet. Very good. Padlet adds images, links. You can react, respond to your comments. Very good. Awesome. So let's end this. And the last question. I'm sorry, but just because of time, let's just finish with the next question is, which digital tool allows you to create worksheets, infographics, badges, tests, worksheets, invitations, you name it. And then let's see what they say. Okay, Sandra says Canva. I can see that. Carla says Canva. Russell, Canva. Okay, very good. So yeah, Canva is the winner. And that's the answer. So very good. Thank you so much. All righty. Very good. Let me end it for now. I know maybe some of you are still working on it, but we'll just, because of time, we're going to end it here. And we're also going to go to the next question. And we're going to end the quiz. It's just three quick questions to kind of like see how much we had grasped and then be ready to go over Canva. But because of time constraints, we're going to have to do a second part and go over Canva, Flip, and Ruby Star. So I hope, Simon, we can set up a quick session again to go over those ideas. The presentation has all the information about Flip, Ruby Star, and Canva. So real sorry we couldn't complete it this time, but thank you all so much for your participation. I just want to close by saying that if you, let me see. Okay, just a second. Bear with me. All right, here we go. So in that conclusion, what I wanted to say is that the purpose of the presentation was to embrace the digital competencies in the way of, managing the technology, managing the apps or the tools, but keeping in mind that you have to be selective. You have to make sure that you enhance your students' talking time as much as possible, and that you make sure that you empower them. So you make them self-directed learners or autonomous learners as much as possible. And thank you so much. Thank you. And hopefully there will be a second part two, to finish with the other tools that we couldn't complete.
Thank you very much, Diana. Actually, our next conference is Digital Tools in English Language Teaching, and it's going to be you, the speaker. So maybe you can, combine those. Well, you're going to also talk about digital tools. And I think it's perfect, right?
Yes, I'll definitely make sure that if, thank you, Rosa. So I think Christian wanted to know about Flip, and I would love to share that with you, Christian. So I'll make sure to bring that in the next presentation so I can have, full disclosure of Flip and then you can see that. Yeah.
Well, we have a few questions. I don't know if we can answer them all.
Definitely.
Here we have a few. So someone was asking about artificial intelligence. Can we incorporate artificial intelligence such as ChatGPT, for example, in the class?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Have you guys used ChatGPT? It's just amazing and scary at the same time. So actually, when I looked into it and started using it, I was just blown away at the speed of the response and the complexity of that response. It's just scary to think that there's this tool that we can use. So I have started using it just for lists for my classes. So I have my students go to ChatGPT and, for example, let's say, ChatGPT, tell me how many places I can go to in Peru for adventurous sports. And ChatGPT will tell you, okay, in Cusco, you can do this. In Arequipa, you can do this. In Chachapoyas, you can. So it'll give you like a list of 10, 11. And with that, then the students can go ahead and prepare a presentation on something, right? Because ChatGPT will do the research for them. Now, lists is the first and safest thing I have done, but you have to be careful because if you give a student an assignment, they will probably use it to write the assignment for them. And then you have to use other tools like Turnitin or tools that will allow you to detect how much of the information that they are presenting or submitting is copied or made by these AI. So I will have to probably look into it a little bit more to make sure we can use it, or instructors can use it in a safe way, or I can also use it in a safe way. But like I said, lists has been the first one and safest one so far.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm working on my thesis right now. And now Turnitin has an option where they recognize artificial intelligence. So I know that I can't use GPT for everything, but it's good for some ideas, right?
Yes, it definitely is. Yes.
Maybe one more. How can in this case, the person who asked the question, how can I improve pronunciation with some of these resources? Is there any other?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question because I've also been looking into that. So Quizlet has a very good tool of giving you the pronunciation of the vocabulary words, but it will only do it if you give it just one word or a sentence. And it will, sound the word for you, and then you just repeat it back. Now, the other one, of course, is Duolingo if you want to use that. But there is one that I use for the pronunciation course that we taught that shows you the manner of articulation of the word, and you can just play it over and over. It's actually a website. So maybe if you remind me, Simon, we can add that to the slides that I will share so that you can have a link to the website where you can see the sounds of the English, the phonetic symbols, and also the sounds that we use, and then how they are produced and how you're supposed to move your lips, etc.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sounds really, really interesting. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Diana. Thank you all the teachers for
thank
being
you so much. Yes.
of the conference. It was a pleasure to have you, and we're going to have you again in the next one. The next one is
Christian.
Digital Tools in English language teaching. So everyone is invited. Thank you very much, SBS Libreria, right? On behalf of Ricardo Palma University. All right. So thank you very much.
Thank you,
Goodbye,
everyone.
guys.
I'm just gonna say thank you. Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.